Hello. As a cyclist, you probably pay a lot more attention to the weather than other people, and in particular, wind speed. It's not really something I ever looked at before I took up cycling, but now, before every single ride, I'm checking the wind speed, because it makes a huge difference whether you have a tailwind or a headwind. And this got me thinking. When it was really windy back in February this year, I cycled home on the 16th of February into a 56-kilometre headwind, which was Storm Dennis. And normally it takes me about 40 minutes or so to get home. And it took me an hour on this day, and it took a lot of effort to get home as well. So I thought, this could be an interesting experiment. So 2 days later, it was Storm Eunice, and it was another good day with a tailwind headwind rather than a crosswind at all. So I thought, I'm gonna record the rides, I'm gonna compare the statistics on Strava once I finish, and see how much difference headwind makes versus a tailwind. However, Storm Eunice had other ideas. The wind must have whipped around the building I went past, and the ground was wet because it had been raining overnight, and it just caught the back wheel, pushed it out, and I skidded and I crashed. And rather than carry on the ride, I just went and got the train, because while most of the route is on cycle paths away from roads, there is some sections where I have to go on road, and if that had happened on the road, that would have potentially been quite bad. So I didn't risk that, I got the train. However, fast forward to the 22nd of February, this time we got Storm Franklin. Storm Franklin wasn't as strong as Eunice, but still provided a 31-kilometre-hour tailwind on the way to work and a 39-kilometre headwind on the way back. So I recorded the stats, I recorded some footage, and we're going to look at the comparison right now. So it was a very grey start, but the route I take to work is just beautiful. I basically just go along the coast for the majority of this 11-mile route every day, going past the beach huts and through shore and port, and just the infrastructure is actually pretty good down here, which is nice. So the stats on the way to work: 11.13 miles, moving time of 38 minutes and 26 seconds. I do not have a power meter, so we'll skip that for now. I do have a heart rate monitor though, on my watch. It's not a chest one, but I have heart rate on my watch, and the average is 121 beats per minute with a maximum of 139 beats per minute. Average speed of 17.4 miles per hour. So total time got to work in 41:39. So that was that. So bear that in mind when we look at the return journey. By the time I was heading home, the weather had improved and the sun was setting and it looked stunning, and it is absolutely the best way to get to and from work is by bicycle. And I've said this a lot on the channel, for short journeys cycling is faster, it is more environmentally friendly, it is cheaper, it is better for your physical health and your mental health, and it is just brilliant, and bike is best, and you know this by now if you've watched any of my channels before or follow me on Twitter or Instagram. So heading back, you can see how beautiful it is, going past the beach huts, with the coast on your left, good infrastructure on the way back. But while it looked beautiful, it was brutal. This 39-kilometre headwind was unrelenting, and I'm sure most of you watching have experienced a headwind, so you know what it's like, but in the event that you haven't, the best way that I can describe it is, have you ever tried to run through a swimming pool? Like running as you normally would on land, but in water, and you feel that resistance as you're trying to move your legs. It's quite similar when you're cycling into a headwind. You're putting all this effort in and you're not really moving that far. I was on the gravel bike. I used my gravel bike to commute to and from work, which has a 1x42 tooth chainring, and on the back it's got a 11-speed 1042 cassette. So on the way to work, I think I was in that 10 tooth pretty much the whole way there, and on the way back, I don't know what the denominations are. I wasn't quite up to the 42 tooth, but I would say around like somewhere between 25 to 30 maybe down to 20, depending on if I got a bit of a lull in the gusts. But yeah, generally putting a lot more effort down. So if we look at the statistics for the headwind for the return journey, again, it's door to door, so the distance is the same, 11.13. Slightly less elevation actually on the way home, but still barely anything. I wanted to try and do an experiment with as minimal climbing as possible, which this route affords. If you look at the moving time, 46:01, that's a lot longer. Average speed, 14.5 miles per hour, it's a lot slower. Heart rate, average 141 beats per minute and a max of 165 beats per minute. The average BPM is higher than my maximum on the way to work. And total time, 49:26. So a good 10 minutes slower. Now coming back to power, I know I said I don't have a power meter, and sometimes I look at Strava's estimated average power. I can tell you now for a fact, this is absolute nonsense. Do not pay any attention to Strava's estimated average power. On the way to work, it was saying I was averaging 222 watts. Maybe, I don't know. On the way back, with a higher heart rate, moving more slowly, it's 138 watts. And it even knows the relative effort was higher, so I don't understand how they work this out. Let's see what they say. Average power. Average power reflects your average power value during a ride, expressed in watts, a measure of how much energy you are exerting onto the pedals. This is inclusive of the entire ride and takes coasting into account as well. There was no opportunity for coasting during the headwind. Anyway, average power is most accurately measured with a power meter, though if you don't have a power meter, we give a rough approximation through our power estimator. Well, your power estimator is rubbish. This is just a waste of space on the UI. Just get rid of that. Just have a thing saying, get a power meter if you want to know power. Because, yeah, rubbish. So there you have it. Quick comparison recap. The Tailwind average heart rate was 121, Headwind 141, so 20 BPM higher. Speed, Tailwind average of 17.4 miles per hour, Headwind 14.5 miles per hour, so roughly 3 miles per hour slower. And moving time, Tailwind 38:26 and Headwind 46:01, so roughly 7.5 minutes, 8 minutes slower into a headwind. So there you have it. Tailwind is faster than a headwind. If you like that mind-blowing statistical analysis, please subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot of new subscribers recently, which is fantastic, following my Fred Witten video. So if you are a new subscriber who joined me because of that video, say hello, drop a like in the comments, let me know, and also just let me know what other highly scientific comparisons you want. Also, please like and share the video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.